systems, both alike in nature's scheme. A fair old classroom where we lay our scene. The arguments put forth tonight are yours, where facial blood will run its zealous course from forth the fatal loins of school and life, a pair of star-crossed systems try in strife. Apart for now, and so tomorrow waits. They, with this show, attempt to oust their fates. The fearful passage of their death-marked names and the continuance of battling brains. For nothing but this simple show tonight could understanding step to public light. And now, listen with cotton-budded ear, this mess our words shall try to clear.
I remember the day I stepped into school, wanting to unlock the empty vaults and place my shoes inside the locker to know that I was placing my inner soul into standing on sacred surrounding ground to take my first steps. Education wept when I built a watershed of guided ideas, new roads never imagined before, walking into the unknown.
I pledge to learn, I pledge to listen. I pledge to learn, I pledge to listen. I pledge myself to conform. I pledge myself to conform. Not to be late or waste this. Not to be late or waste this. In immaculate school uniform. In immaculate school uniform. I pledge to learn, I pledge to listen. I pledge to learn, I pledge to listen. I pledge myself to conform. I pledge myself to conform. Not to be late or waste this day. Not to be late or waste this day. In immaculate school uniform. In immaculate school uniform. I pledge to learn. I pledge to listen.
I pledge to you my attention, the breadth of my truth, but the openness to be honest, the strength to tell you that I don't know, and the courtesy to let you make your own interpretation. I pledge to never try to fill your grey areas with my own shades. Never will I knowingly stifle your creativity, or use my educator reins to steer you away from a new answer. I pledge to never rob you of the adventure of being wrong, or the panoramic scope of trial and error. I pledge to be here for you, in empathy and sympathy, when you need me, and when you don't know you need me, in the dead of night confusion brings. I pledge to be me, and continue to grow endlessly into me, by sifting, sorting, and selecting the best fruits from the tree of education to plant my seeds of knowledge in God.
I pledge to go against all prejudices and to shed light on the labels with which they bind, to understand that the journey to an answer holds more value than the answer itself, to know that we are just a drop in a bottomless well. I pledge to understand all differences and to know that to be different does not mean to be wrong, that we should make our own music and dance to our own song. Our infallibilities are fallible, our truths are ours alone. It is knowledge, not age, that is the measure of your soul.
I pledge to blow oxygen on the sparks of my questions and build fire from curiosity. I pledge not to fall back on the past, but keep tumbling forward. I pledge to climb molehills and mountains and trust that I will reach the summit. I pledge allegiance to the class of empathy. I will care because it's worth caring. I will wear what I want to wear, even if everyone's staring. I will not be scared and try it anyway. I will look with my eyes and my mind and my heart. I pledge to pick myself up when I fall. I pledge I will colour in crimson and azura and ochre and gold. And it's okay if my crayons go over the lines, because inquisitiveness is bolder than perfection.
Late. Again.
Miss, sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm late. I was, what so? You want to know why I'm late, miss? Fine. But this, miss, will blow your mind. See, I set my alarm for 7:30, but it didn't go off till 9:30. Plus it took me like half an hour to find my tie and I was up kinda late watching Die Hard 5, but nah, that ain't the reason that I was late, miss. Check now, yeah? I actually ended up on the bus on time. See, I was sat at the back, swigging lemon and lime. I had my headphones on, just chilling to some grime. When, miss, no word of a lie, the 263 turns into Optimus Prime.
You just can't help it, can you?
If you don't want to be here, then go.
Why can't you be more like Grant?
You're better than this.
Death is a great painkiller.
If you don't know it, lag it.
You're quite clearly not ill, are you?
You're a nasty piece of work.
Write a lot, about a little.
Take those headphones out!
I'll eat myself if you pass.
Fuck me.
Your friends won't pass your test for you.
If your mate jumped off that cliff, would you?
I've got my job.
Remember me when you're a millionaire?
Not my time you're wasting, it's yours.
Just get out.
Do you want to go and report again?
Was that supposed to be a joke?
What are you supposed to be here?
Put the chair down! What? Are you snorting sherbet?
Otherwise, what you haven't learned.
Do what you want. I'm going for dinner.
There's only so long left.
I'm over here. Shirley doesn't want to see your ugly face.
Right! Who's doing that?
Gurpreet has 17 Mars bars. He eats 15 of them. What does he have now?
Diabetes!
Diarrhea!
I would tap upon the abacus and add up what was left. I was an incomplete chalkboard drawing. My eyes gleamed the green of an antique computer screen. I was a number-crunching pawn. caught between the seventh sun beneath the belly of the storm, watching my thoughts assemble. In a second they'd be gone, a dead flower left to fester and infect us with its tongue. My skin was lined with lilac scales. I was not taught what time entailed, that if deadlines weren't met then I had failed. I was never taught that an answer was the product of a question, and asking questions is what makes us stronger. I am now no longer so scared to misunderstand.
Reggie lives 12 miles from work. His average speed during rush hour is 58 miles per hour. Reggie leaves his house at 8:17 and work starts at 9 a.m. Is Reggie going to be late?
With a name like Reggie, I'm surprised he even has a job.
Reggie's running on black people's time.
I think Reggie needs to start looking for a new job.
I want to count fire and multiply it by what it manages to burn to ash. I want to count every last grey dust particle and distinguish the flecks that matter and don't. I want to feel water droplets cold against skin and all the rain that gets trapped in damp clothing. Does it matter that fire burns us? Let's pretend it's some sort of rebirth to cleanse our souls, all so we can know our mistakes just before it's too late. That way, we won't need to make them.
Did you know that if you write out pi to 2 decimal places, backwards it spells pie?
I want to count fire and multiply it by what it manages to burn to ash. I want to count the syllables of my name and teach others how to say it, so it tastes good. I want to smile at couples, but tangled tongues and guilt-soaked embraces make me nervous. Plus my smell's weird because I've got braces. I'm not sure how to enjoy the beginning when the end is foretold. I don't want distraction, I don't want destruction. I want to breathe lightly. Let my cardboard lungs leave the earth undisturbed. I want to dampen tornadoes' temperaments, wrap hurricanes in cellophane. I want to wink at the eye of the storm.
Did you know 53% of the world's out-of-school children are girls and 2/3 of the illiterate people in the world are women?
At school, they taught me the world was round, that gravity was what kept us earthbound, preventing us from pushing our feet out of the dirt, propelling ourselves to caress new solar systems with open minds and curious fingers. My mind was stuck to the dirt.
Hello! Bertolf, Lofty, Brotherville, Iremill. No, it's not a lie. No key, door stuck, dog poo, cat poo, pigeon poo, pro splash, rip shoes, car crash too. I swear to God, say it's the truth. Bus late, forgot book, lost taxi, got mugged. Sir, seriously, can I make this look? You see my creative, right? Ain't this good? Had a fight, tripped up, arm broke, police search, ninja attack, broke up, sisters at home. Nah, I'm not doing all that. What's the double negative? Granddad died, granddad died, brother died. No, not him. One. Shh.
At school, they taught me the world was round, that gravity was what kept us earthbound, preventing us from pushing our feet out of the dirt, propelling ourselves to caress new solar systems with open minds and curious fingers. My mind was stuck to the desk, feet cemented with used chewing gum without the confidence to cut myself loose. I was never told that education wasn't everything, that conforming to a system and moulding myself to fit somebody else's expectations would leave me floating like a dandelion seed. I was never taught to experience the world, to follow my thoughts down mouse holes, to live out dreams lucid and mercurial. But water droplets follow gravity, creating new canyons.
The world's most powerful organism in proportion to its size is gonorrhea.
For her exams, she's looking at A's and B's. I just wish she'd settle down and not be so lazy. I know she can do it. I really do believe in her. I just wish she'd focus on not being an underachiever. Her attitude towards homework is seriously regretful. I don't believe that anybody could be that forgetful. Now, she's quite the bookworm, a right little reader, always heading the pages. Problem is, I'm her maths teacher.
Did you know that the Romans used urine as mouthwash?
I wish I was taught. I wish I was taught why we idolize mindless celebrities. British schools are the concentration camps that enslave freedom and torture creativity. Backstabbed with a textbook, education is to knowledge what Judas is to Jesus. I wish I was taught why we drew flags in classrooms as if they actually represented unification, while telling us to ignore the borders blood they spill for. I wish I was taught why we don't exercise our exercise books as the demons from those pages tell kids they ain't good enough. I wish I was taught why we segregate classes into classes, a caste system between private school and public school. Some of us are paying $9 grand for an annual education, whilst others can't afford the same aspirations. No wonder there's more division between schools than in maths. I wish I was taught why we were made to learn about Gandhi and Mandela while shouting over the cries of Calais. Because from behind the front lines in the Middle East and beneath the lines in our textbooks, the only thing I learned from history is that we do not learn from history. I wish I was taught why I was told off for not paying attention, like I would focus any better writing lines in detention. See, education in the wrong hands is a manipulative system, like Germany under the grasp of Hitler, like the Soviet Union under Stalin, and like Cambodia under Pol Pot. There's a difference between correct and PC, and education is just a last gasp, never-ending lobotomy. Your spirit waits for the end beyond university.
Did you know only 19% of white working class boys manage to obtain 5 A to C grades in their GCSEs?
What? No, so you can do one now. Not having that. Because they rate a single GCSE to this stranger's name even though he was aimed at A's. Straight away they'll notice the note all over. Overlooking his accomplishments for a fallen soldier may not always display his traits. And his chain it swayed. Both a mother and a father to cradled pain, resenting those that remained unscathed by the power that had failed to aid this flower in its conquest for the correct balance between sun rays and rain. The place he was raised caused quakes and waves that those who aimed to contain couldn't quite cage nor tame. Ragged, bruised skin and tattooed ink usually portrayed as vain were merely hiding burns beneath a masquerade of flames, leaving those in range afraid of being scolded. His crooked teeth moulded by teachers who told him if he did not change his ways, then he wouldn't quite manage to gain the grades. Capable of so much, it was the greatest shame that his self-worth was evaluated and weighed solely upon the AQA's database. His scorn shows he is livid. Born as a free spirit, yet the materialistic system insists that he reshapes his brain to relay the same information he'd taken again and again, yelling at him, telling at him.
Those that do not conform will rue what they sought and are worthy of no more than a day-to-day wage.
His skinny-ass fingers wrapped up in plasters were masters of poetry. His teachers didn't know it shit. Shakespeare just ain't his game. He can't identify with that day and age. Because his passion ain't practiced in mathematics classrooms, and his language is too colloquial to qualify for the exam. And his inability to follow instructions imprisoned his mind in the body of a free man. And now he's insulted by the way that the media screams that nothing good ever comes from the estate streets on which he hangs. An estate full of shotters, cheap slags, and a local smackhead who fiends crack, nah. An estate full of dreamers, chasers, who CBA going for the ABCs on some measly papers because in reality they shouldn't even need that. But as long as this vagabond has a voice, he vows that one day Ofsted will see that.
I've got to deal with that. Gardell, you can either sit at the back, going on like that, or you can give yourself another chance. When I read your book and see you've done something wrong, you don't see me kicking chairs, hitting walls, calling you a mom. Do you? No. So treat me like a human.
Teachers only encourage those who do well. Otherwise, it's just an occasional,
well done,
or,
well, you could have done better.
Or maybe,
well.
What
have you done today?
Not much, but I've done well not to fall asleep. Because the one that falls asleep in lesson is always known for it. And anything that happened in the past or happens in the future will be insignificant, as I'll always be known as the dopey one.
Dreadlocks don't make jobs.
You're going to be slapping custard on cakes your whole life.
Your work is definitely interesting.
Having met your mother, I can see why you are the way you are, and why she doesn't want you to live with her.
Your grades are okay, but they could definitely be better.
You got an A, followed by a W, F, U, L.
What would your parents think?
You can't get a job from playing FIFA all night.
You're never gonna amount to anything.
Back on report.
Why'd you even bother coming to school?
Sit down, stand up, or get out!
With the water.
You do know what an iron is.
Lesson starts at 2 p.m, not 5 past.
One bomb hits target. Pupils watch enemies war. Expelled tomorrow. I remember that day vividly. My testosterone was simmering, and it all started with stirring and playground bickering. I heard he'd been chatting me, bragging he could do me in, said I was a waste man and that I couldn't do him anything. And I'd ignored him for time, turning a blind eye to all the things he did and said to try and make me mutate from Jekyll to Hyde. But I want to make him regret getting me hyped. And teaching by demonstration is best to let a sleeping dog lie. In my mind, I booked him an appointment at the dentist with a relentless frenzy of left jabs, right hooks, and concussive uppercuts, but I couldn't take the bait. Was already on my last warning. My report card was a charge sheet, and my credit with the teachers was nothing short of appalling. And now he's walking my way. I better think of something clever to say like, you should have brought a pillow, because you're getting put to sleep. And he replied,
wait, since when did me and you have beef?
And I wish school taught me to seek the truth from the horse's mouth.
Summer days in summer dresses, sweet breezes dusting grass, broken shrieks and frenzied laughter, lost innocence cries out. Small bodies flit through sycamore trees as helicopters dance. Grubby hands brush scabby knees as boisterous fights play out. Round darkened corners worth is proven, wide eyes lit cherry red, faces blurred by hazy breath. All's left but ash when embers die. Bee song gives way to klaxon screams, drag minds and feet in line. Games played out and freedom's lost when miniature soldiers march out.
I'm sorry to inform you, but a parent is coming into school today about sexting.
A standing cock has no conscience. To my daughter, I tell you this now in the quiet of this room, in the hope that my words will echo through the noise of pressure. A standing cock has no conscience. So don't sit by a man whose conscience you don't already know. Know the intentions he stands for, and if they are pure enough for your clean slate, don't allow him to leave footprints in your bed, or your handprints be found in his. That moment when all has been said, so close to your ear it leaves you trembling in curiosity, and all has been done, written in your life's memoirs. Your slate has been marked. So make your mark count, because one day you'll realize that the mark on your soul is deeper than you first thought, and it's not worth that moment of dim lights and whispered words. So know the intentions he stands for before you let your hair stand on edge for him. And if his intentions aren't pure enough, just leave it. Let me educate you now, because the knowledge of regret comes with heavy darkness for the heart. To my son, know what you stand for before you even start to rise.
My mother taught me that I am beautiful.
Even when ugly tears pillage the rhythms of your heart.
And bury them in dissonance.
She taught me that I don't have to breathe hate.
No spit indifference.
That loving isn't painless.
And being awkward isn't wrong.
That change or time or heartbreak cannot scatter my significance.
That I matter. That I am more than atoms.
My mum taught me to hope.
And to my surprise, it tastes less like dust and more like honey.
I was never one that cared about scholarships and honor rolls. White collars sat on a black collarbone. Here they just tap on the table and ask me why I'm so monotone, while all of my role models end up being followed home for speaking the ugly of truth and die slow like golden honeycombs under the moon. Here, all they want to do is judge and assume that I came from a place of bloodied knuckles and hullabaloos. Of course, my mother was coloured in blues. I had nothing to lose, so when I told her how I suffered in school, she said,
"You have to work twice as hard."
Her words echoed in me as I studied the room, but I was never offered Greek astronomers and star signs, struggling under the perception of a hard life in one hand, trying to emulate the Odyssey, and then with the other, pretending that I can't write. This was the apartheid of a part-time poet.
You have to work twice as hard as everyone else.
The one thing that does not abide by majority rule is a person's conscience. What if I tried to touch the flames, but someone held my arm away from the smoke and spoke to me as if I didn't know what the fire would do to my fingers? I sparked a blaze with foreign flint and tinder and tipped my glass to pass the time. It's not quite time to worry yet. I let my tongue jump the gun, let the sun become the master, see the guess turn correct, see the question as an answer, watch my laughter collapse as my mouth scatters a stanza, and watch the static on the screen fade to black as it's abandoned. I inscribed my words on tablets, but not one soul would swallow them, even though they knew they were sick.
Don't touch the fire and you won't need to learn. Stay in ignorance while you lay around public furnaces. Of course, my porridge is burnt, but liquor in puddles may not be worse, or limbs scattered on ceramic plates. Pick the crevices between your teeth with them. Sleep with them. You are reusable like the labels on your skin. Plastic stapled to the neck. They won't be friendly. There's a blurb on the back of your head, and it reads, well, seashells perched against my ears, and I can hear your consciences. You are manhandled down the same street that I came to eat the mandible of lobster on. You are urinating on the headstone pieces. In the same place, our surname features on coffins. I've got doctors laughing at my good health. I'm wondering, should wealth determine his happiness? While you're somewhere between green and grey, I linger in between the day and dark. I thought my words would reach your senses. Instead, you're weaving between steel detectors. I heard about the young man. He tried to steal a necklace and ended up pleading for redemption. I bet you mentioned my name as you played defendant, not that you were feeling reckless. But I used to feed you knowledge, sipped through intravenous drips. If a father's what you seem to miss, I was there, watching you lay comatose, checking that you didn't overdose on what most would love to drink. You squandered it, and if curiosity kills, I'm just wondering, would you have known any better than that if I hadn't raised you first through letters and stamps?
Miss, so we could watch a video today.
It wasn't so boring, it won't be so hard.
2 minutes late and I got 30-minute detention.
Have you got a ruler, sir?
Why are you always picking on me?
Fine, I'll get my mom to come in.
But sir, saw it on TV.
Oh, please, don't tell my mom.
How many words by Friday?
Wikipedia. Nah, I wrote it myself.
Have you got a pen, sir?
You don't have to.
I'm gonna work for my daddy anyway.
Have you got a sharpener, sir?
How have you come to school without anything?
I swear I handed in my coursework last week.
What can you teach me that I can't teach myself?
So you know how I've always hated PE, right?
Yeah.
Well, this one day last term I turned up and I realised they only had one trainer.
Shit!
Yeah. You know what that means? The spare PE kit box, full of teachers' ragged relegated uniforms, unclaimed sweaty shorts and abandoned cheesy trainers. Wearing that kit? Not an option. There was only one thing for it. So you know that girl in our class that's allergic to deodorant spray? Well, she used to get changed in the ladies' toilets to avoid the after-session assault of body spraying from the rest of the class. So before class started, I sneaked in and I emptied an entire can of Charlie Red in the toilet doorway. Then, I put it in Faye Folkeston's bag. You know what she's like, she regularly soils her own reputation, so easy scapegoat. Right, so by the end of the day, Faith Ferguson had been suspended. Deodorant spray girl was in hospital. I didn't have to go to PE.
They'd cast their gargantuan canes, slash our palms and call this discipline. Please tell me, to what question is violence ever the answer? Dear violence, you're still the same inhumane monster, no matter how many times they alter your name and call it teaching a lesson, or how many times you shapeshift from a cane to an AK, you're still a weapon. The only lesson you teach is lessening our bravery. Dear violence, you teach us fear and our pleas fall on deaf ears. We want to be taught not to fear when we don't understand, but we're taught the end of the cane is where we belong, and that's where we stand.
Don't know where you think you're going.
Get to the wall! Stand tall!
Think about what you've done.
Don't look at anyone.
Don't be ashamed. Just say what you mean and follow your dreams.
But that's not gonna pay the bills now, is it?
Where's that gonna lead you? A life in McDonald's?
Get your ass off that sofa. Don't sit slouched over.
Fix your posture.
You better get some manners.
Why are you acting so out of character?
Go get my belt.
You're after another tenner, aren't you?
Have you been on the white?
Wait till your dad gets home.
Oh, don't turn out like a dad.
Well done.
We'll see.
Follow me.
Don't be a sheep.
Lord, take me now.
Don't admit to anything.
Hit him. Hit him hard.
Look. Hit the one that you can't outrun.
Institution. That which brings men to the pains in their knees, bowing to rules and regulations. That which makes weak men strong and strong women weak. Institution revered as the backbone of society. I say, society's back is broken. Turn your back from Moloch and accept the wider horizon that surrounds you. Fly with newly formed wings of wonder and sit on the throne in the sky to be a king of something new, rather than a slave to archaic principles. Don't be tempted by the grandeur of the golden pantheon where institution sits. And education, a son to that god, sits also at the pantheon, smugly, arrogantly looking down below. Yes, he gives order to those directionless faces, but only a select few. His power is now a weapon, not a gift. Education, they say it teaches you to learn, but it does not. It teaches you to lie and die under the black sun of night, grasping onto mundanity. Don't be afraid to grace the golden distance with your mind's presence. Embrace the horizon and ignore the futility of tomorrow. For you belong to a different family, a family of titans, a family of knowledge, rebellious to the gods. For we are all Prometheus, stealing the fire and keeping it in our hearts. Refuse the meal of Pelops and keep that knowledge, that beautiful knowledge, that untainted knowledge, that newborn knowledge.
"11 years spent memorizing, not discovering. But what does that show? That man's greatest source of info is a book. There's no development of the basics, so let's face that great minds of today fear they'll be pushed out of their place by a generation that generates great thoughts. He showed great potential, but defying the school essentials led him to a job in Netto. He could have stood waiting to perform behind the red curtain, but the system built him into a worker and not his own person.
Lost in a midst of gutters and grids that dreams seem to seep through, I found my first teacher. beyond the block of flats and beneath a black bandana, I found my first teacher. I found that if I looked past the thug-like tattoo and in between the prison sentences, then I would find hidden messages, because I just didn't get this shit from Mr. Ainsworth. I didn't pick up great words of wisdom or how to stay strong even when the pain hurts. I found someone that taught me that being Christ-like doesn't always mean you have to stay in church. See, when I play a verse of Tupac Shakur, he was the first teacher that taught me how to respect a woman, how to make sure that she's ready whenever you sex a woman, how men are not above nor below, but they are next to woman, how they will carry our kin to continue our legacy, so by God bless the woman, how they are not sexual commodities, so do not collect the woman, but same time do nothing apart from be yourself to impress the woman. He taught me to exercise my rights in the face of false authority. Not everyone with knowledge is degreed up through scholarships. Honestly, Tupac taught me that it's okay to be stuck in the same rut as everyone else and still be the guy that tries to lead every brother out of it. The truth is, I learned more from rap than I did from any maths class, and I'll tell you that I'm proud of it. Because one teacher presents information that he gathered himself, while the others was just passed down to him. Now you tell me, who's the wise man and who's the counterfeit?
Potential, yes. Concentration, no. Clearly intelligent, but a cheeky so-and-so. Wherever there's trouble, you'll find him there, jumping out of the window just for a dare. He needs to keep his head down and stop following the crowd, apply himself and stop being so loud. He may need special help, or be educationally anointed. If it's not the latter, we shall be very disappointed.
I wish school taught me that black people existed before white people discovered them. That black people existed outside of invasions and colonizations, so I didn't spend all the poorly acknowledged Black History Months defining black people in terms of the struggle they went through with white people. I wish that school had taught me how we can live life without imperialism or without westernization, and that conflicts between nations don't have to be solved by war, because tribes live side by side sharing land, and there was genuine peace, love, and sustainability within gold mines of knowledge, and that black people were the template for this. But then I also wish that school had taught me that by the time I knew, I'd also know that nobody cares.
You see, I'm relentless, hell-bent on questioning. Nah, I'm not a pessimist. Who gives a fuck about a double negative? I'll show the middle finger to your sheriffs and your deputies, because I'm the Lone Ranger from out of town and this stage is my western flick. You see, knowledge is equality, but education's prejudice. That's why as a human race we discovered fire yet never lit the candle of serenity. We knew that there were things not meant to be meddled with, but we dug so deep that the ground collapsed beneath our feet, and now we need to remove the rubble, rediscover what's remained undercover for centuries, if we are to reveal something legendary. The truth. It is known by many and spoken by few. I refuse to believe that Guy Fawkes was a terrorist, and that Oswald shot Kennedy. My senses itch for me to venture further into the rabbit hole, for I have visioned plaques of stone and the hieroglyphs they are etched in it, telling me that there are so many planets far from derelict that were never writ about. And now I've got tremors slipping down my spine as curiosity creeps into my crevices. My head fell heavily in religion lessons. Miss never told us to find the hidden references within Exodus. So whether you're a Jew journeying to Jerusalem or a Muslim making a Mecca trip, remember this. Invisible bars will create cages a slave will not tremble in. and now I'm desperate for a heavy fix of the witch doctor's medicine. I have snorted the line between truth and lies till I got high on evidence and was visited by higher presences. Baffled and bathing in a sea of transcendent myths, I spy truth behind their discrepancies. I have studied the Sumerian scrolls as my descendants did and had the quickest glimpse of hidden links in our ancestry. Shit. I have touched the crystal ball and seen the last men of humanity looking into a cemetery of complete endlessness. Is that really our destiny? Now the question is, how can we know so much, yet continue to act like we do not know anything?
Correct word is wrote. It's just great to see so many people here to come and support the work that we do. We love you all, we appreciate you all for coming to support, because otherwise we perform into an empty room. There's a few people that this performance wouldn't have happened without. A lot of those people are acknowledged on the programs on your seats, but there's a few people we need to shout out and kind of ask to come up and share the stage with us. We've got a gift for you. Do you want to go and grab the stuff? Yeah. So the first person we're going to shout out is Shirley May. Shirley May. Shirley May is the director of Young Identity, the founding director of Young Identity. She comes and she gives her time effortlessly for the group of young people you see here on stage, and many more. And Shirley's really invested a lot of time into the young people and to the project. So Shirley, we want to thank you. Your work, your hard work, it's not unrecognised. We love you, we appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you do. Is a quiet powerhouse, a woman of few words, but when she speaks, we hear, and it's really impacting. The director of this production is Flo Meredith. We first brought out Battle of the Minds this time last year, and Flo came in at really short notice to help with direction, and she basically said, you've got something here, I really believe that we can make this thing work, so if you give me a bit more time next year, we'll get it going. Contact thankfully commissioned us to do it again, and we've had Flo on board. Flo designed the music for the show, so big shout out for Flo.